So Superman and Lois just had their finale. It was a really awesome, emotional finale. A lot of great stuff on that finale and in the whole show. And it marks the end of what's the Arrowverse. So that's DC TV shows on the CW. So today I thought I'd reflect and rank all of the different seasons in the Arrowverse. And I'm including multiverse shows as long as they're on the CW or their character has an extended appearance on a CW show. Hey, it doesn't matter what kind of worldview you have. It's the fact is it's a stressful world that we live in. But luckily, I'm here to help. I upload new videos every week that will help you to relax, help you to distract a little bit from everything bad going on in the world. I talk about the latest movies and TV shows, as well as costumes and fashion, how to put together costumes. So it's a long climb to 500 subscribers, but you build it one at a time. If you're ready to join a community of fashion lovers and story lovers and costume lovers, then don't delay. Subscribe today. Okay, so I'm in my Green Arrow cosplay, in case you couldn't tell. Very, very much a closet cosplay. I'll link to a video on how you can cosplay the Green Arrow if you'd like to put together your own Green Arrow costume. So this is by season, and that's because across most of the shows there were very, very high inconsistencies between each season. So you might have one season that's awesome, and then the next season is awful, and then the next season just mid. So there's a lot of that going on in the Arrowverse for sure. And that's something that really hurt them was even if you had a show, like if the show started out strong the first couple seasons, then got bad for a couple seasons, but then improved, like got better for the way later seasons, you lost those viewers. So it didn't matter how good, for example, season 6 of The Flash was, if seasons 3, 4, and 5 were all really bad, you've lost those viewers. Now you're not getting them back, even though you've improved things with season 6. So that's something that definitely hurt them a lot. So let's start to go through these. I started to categorize them by release order, but that got a little bit difficult. So because a lot of these shows air at the same time, so I'll just go with the order that they're in now. So starting with Arrow season 1. So this was all right. I think it definitely had issues, but I give it credit for trying to do something new, and trying to do they wanted to do a Batman show. They weren't allowed to do a Batman show, so just doing the best they could with the character they had, and having a darker take on Green Arrow. Because if you read the comics or like the animated stuff with Green Arrow, he's not really that dark, but this show in this first season did a pretty good thing. Okay, so next we have Arrow season 2, and this one I think fixed a lot of the issues that season 1 had a very good villain, and just overall evened out some of the rough edges that season 1 had. So I'll put this into A tier. Okay, next we have The Flash season 1. So this, weirdly enough, is the best season of the show, and that's unusual. So usually shows that run for multiple seasons, they'll try a bunch of stuff in season 1, and then they'll refine it for season 2, season 3. The Flash just straight out of the gate had the best season. So that's a little bit weird. I'm not sure how exactly that happened, but maybe because the people had been working on Arrow, so they had a good idea of what they wanted. So I will definitely put this into S tier. Great villain in the reverse Flash. Great take on this character who is more neurodivergent than other previous versions.
Where's Alan? I'm sorry. can't keep covering.
CSI, coming
He's
through.
not here now. I'm gonna have to carry on this investigation without him.
And you saw that in the DCEU that they took that from the show. Okay, so Arrow season 3, it's got some issues with the Ra's al Ghul being white and some of the writing around Ra's al Ghul, but I still feel like it was decent. So I'll put this into B tier. Okay, so Constantine is the only one on this list. I haven't seen Smallville, so unfortunately I can't rank that. The only one on this list that's not on this that hasn't aired on the CW, but I put it in here because I really like the show and because his character Constantine, the same version, was on Legends of Tomorrow quite a long time, so I consider it an Arrowverse show, and it is canon to Earth Prime or Earth One, however you want to think about it. So this is an awesome show. I really like the character of Constantine. I came out as bi because of the character of Constantine. So it was a little bit episodic, but I'm willing to overlook that because of all the things I like about it. So I'll put this into S tier. Okay, Flash season 2, almost as good as the Flash season 1. Zoom was a little bit repetitive of season 1, so that's why I like season 1 more. But had some great multiverse stuff, had some great stuff. So I'll also put this into S tier. Okay, Supergirl. This is where we start getting into things I don't like. So I'm not a fan of some people call it social commentary or activism, especially when that's like the main focus. Like if you're doing a decent story, but you've also got some activism, maybe I can get behind it. But what Supergirl did in pretty much every season was just throw out story and character and just focus on the political issues and contrived everything else to meet that. So it's not as bad as some of the later seasons. So I'll put this into D tier, and that's being very kind. So Arrow season 4, despite one good episode that had Constantine in it, it was a pretty bad season with a pretty bad villain. I think they took the stakes way too high and just had a villain that didn't fit for the show. That might have been a better fit for like Legends of Tomorrow, which to be fair, they did use him later and he was pretty good on there. So I'll put this into F tier. Legends season 1, this is better than a lot of people think. So there's a tonal shift in between season 1 and 2 where season 1's pretty dark and then they go more of a campy thing. But this still isn't bad. I like Vandal Savage a lot as a villain, so I'll put this in C tier. Okay. Arrow season 5, this one was just mid. There was some decent stuff, but nothing too memorable. The Flash season 3. So this had a really strong start, like maybe the first half of the season, but then it just but Savitar was just such a bad villain. Disability people didn't like it because he's got some scars, and it's the same guy except he has scars, and it just wasn't that interesting of a villain, and it kind of made no sense. So this will go into the F tier. Supergirl season 2, as it shifted to the CW, the social activism stuff got even worse, so this will go into F tier. Arrow season 6, same thing as series 5, just nothing too memorable. I don't really remember that much about. There's a guy named Ricardo Diaz, but I remember nothing about him. Arrow season 7, same thing. I mean, the Longbow Hunters, I at least remember them, and I remember he was in prison, but not really much memorable, not really much bad, so it will just kind of sit in this C tier. Arrow season 8, so this series was one of the best. So it managed to both set up for Crisis and finish a lot of the arcs of the series. So I feel like this belongs in yeah, maybe I'll go A tier on this. All right, Batwoman season 1. This one was pretty bad. It really had too much focus on Alice, and it just wasn't the Bat show that we all wanted. I think potentially, I'm not sure if Gotham was still on the air at the time, but certainly Gotham, even if it wasn't on the air at the same time, is like a way better Batman show that barely even had Batman in it, and it's already doing more than someone who's already. So this show is, I wanted to like it, but I couldn't. So Batwoman season 2, same thing. So it really just focused on Alice too much and didn't do a good job establishing Ryan Wilder. Batwoman season 3, same thing, a little bit better, but still had way too much focus on Alice. Okay, Black Lightning. This is a show that everyone sleeps on, and it's amazing. It's it's got so much good drama, and I think it does the Dark Knight thing of being realistic and being in the, bringing superheroes into, like, quote unquote the real world, making it seem realistic. But I think it does it even better than the Dark Knight. So it's an awesome show. I totally would watch it again. So this will go into S tier. Tobias, great villain. Season 2, maybe not a maybe pretty much as good as season 1. It's got a shorter season, so it didn't totally wrap up Tobias's storyline in the first season. So pretty much I kind of grouped these together. So and still continues the amazing writing and emotional beats that season 1 did. Black Lightning season 3, this series also gets S tier. Gravedigger is a fantastic villain, and it continues with the really good stuff. I think Black Lightning is severely an underrated show, except for season 4, which totally drops the ball. See, this is the thing about CW shows; they're always inconsistent season to season, and so and so it just really brings down, like, people are less likely to watch any of it because some of it's bad. So this I'll put into F tier. The Flash, what season is this? Okay, I think this is season 4. So season 4 is really bad. It had another disabled villain, which is pretty bad, and a lot of plot holes. Just not a good series. So I'll put this into trash. Flash season 5. This one it wasn't as bad as 4, but still not very, like, it had some good stuff with the Reverse Flash, but that was really the only less screen time than everything else going on. So I'll put this into D tier. The Flash season 6. This one showed a great improvement. I think this series was awesome. I will put this in S tier. I think Bloodwork's a fantastic villain. It fixed so many issues that some of the other seasons had. But the unfortunate thing, like I said, is people had dropped off of it by that time. So even though it improved, it wasn't getting its viewers back. Flash season 7. This one is not good. I think at this point the show had just ran out of interesting ideas, so there were only uninteresting ideas left, and that's what season 7 was. Same thing with seasons 8 and 9. The show just really didn't have anything left that was interesting to do. Legend season 2. This one was pretty good. I'll give it A tier. Big tonal shift from the first season, and brought some good camp to things, to the show, to the Arrowverse. So season 3, even more so, leads into the camp, and I think it's really good, and it's got some Constantine that's well done. So in the later seasons of Legends, when Constantine's a main character, it's a little bit contrived, it's a little bit out of character, he's a little bit more jokey than he is in the show. But in season 3, he's only in like 3 episodes, but they get him right in season 3. So season 4, still kind of campy, but not really that good. So Constantine's a main character, but they don't totally get him right. So I'll put this into C tier. Season 5, exact same thing. Season 6, yeah, exact. I would say, yeah, it's the exact same thing. A lot of mediocrity. Season 7 is pretty good. It's got some fantastic representation. I mean, the whole show has some of the best representation ever. It's got like 3 bi characters, couple gay characters. Season seven's got an asexual character, and it does like the time police or the time wraith storyline pretty well. It does end on a cliffhanger. That's the only thing keeping it from S tier. So I think if shows don't know they're getting renewed, they should not be ending on a cliffhanger. Stargirl, excellent series. It's very colorful. It's very, at least this season, very comedic. I will happily put this into S tier. Stargirl season 2. This one went dark. I feel like it's hard to get. I feel like it's hard to do tonal shifts from season to season. I feel like shows should do it more though. But I think Stargirl definitely pulls it off. I will also put this into S tier. Stargirl season 3 goes back to kind of comedic if I remember correctly, but still continues all the very good stuff that it was doing. And I think it knows how to do ensemble shows well. Like it doesn't take, like in the later seasons of The Flash, there's just way too much focus on all the side characters, and which is part of why all this is down here and down here. But Stargirl has a lot of characters, but the focus is on Stargirl. So all these seasons of Supergirl, same exact issue. It's just too focused on politics and not enough on story or character. And it doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree with the political issue. Doesn't matter. I like to experience entertainment to distract myself. I feel like the world is stressful, and I want to experience entertainment in a way that can distract myself from it. And Supergirl just didn't provide that. It actually did the opposite. It reminded me of things that were going on in the world that I didn't like. So every single one of these except season 1, which is, it's just sort of girl power. It's not really doing anything stressful with this politics. Everything is going into F tier. Okay, so Superman and Lois. This is a fantastic series, and I feel comfortable pretty much. So here's the thing: season 2 decanonizes it from the Arrowverse, but I'm not really going to hold that against it. I feel like it would be better if they just never addressed it, like which Earth it was on. But so even though I've got season that makes season 2 the worst season, I still feel like all the seasons belong in S tier because they're just so good, regardless of continuity stuff. Like I would just, like a lot of the later seasons, especially, cry every episode. Like especially the cancer stuff. It's just an emotional. It's just a very emotional show that does emotional beats really well. So Naomi, a lot of people overlook this one. I think it's pretty good. It only ran for one season, unfortunately. I'll put this into A tier. Okay, so Gotham Knights, I only watched 3 episodes of, but I'm still gonna rank it. I've still seen some video essays and stuff about it, so I feel comfortable putting this into F tier because it really just, everything feels super contrived. It's just a lot of stuff in it just makes zero sense and is not interesting. I feel like there are so many shows where Batman dies or goes missing or something. It's like they're contriving everything to, like the guy who's supposed to not never give up and continue defending Gotham his whole life has given up or died. So it just wasn't a good show. So yeah, so I mean the Arrowverse, here's my tier list. I haven't seen Smallville or Birds of Prey, but all of these, with the exception of Gotham Knights, I've seen pretty much the whole run of, except for the last couple episodes of the last season of Supergirl. So you see a lot of S tier. It had some great stuff, but it also had a lot of F tier and D tier stuff, and a lot of mediocre stuff. So I feel like the biggest takeaway from the Arrowverse is that consistency is important from season to season on TV shows. And if you don't have that consistency, it doesn't matter how much you improve later on, people won't care. Like I tried to get my friends who stopped watching The Flash after season 3 or 4 to like come back for season 6, but none of not a single one would do it because they didn't have that consistency. So so far, Creature Commandos is pretty good. We've entered like a new era where everything's going to be more interconnected in the way that the CW, sorry, in the more way that the in more of a way that the MCU is connected. So these shows did provide even some of these mediocre ones. I think they were at least better than the current, like what the current DCEU was offering at the time. Like the DCEU was for the most part just trash, and the ones that were good were like not really connected at all to the DCEU, like very loosely connected. So I feel like these shows did have a place for a while, but now that we have James Gunn, I feel more confident that the mainline DC films and series are going to be very good. So interesting little thing they did with this Arrowverse, and it was fun today to kind of look back at these shows that I am nostalgic for, and at least some of these good ones, like I'll definitely remember them and maybe even watch them again.